How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of Coming in Clutch. My name is Lorenzo Iacomini, a.k.a. The Speedy Guidi.
And I'm LA Car Spotter, but my real name is Cody Lewis.
Whoa. Guys, we got a good one for you today. You've been waiting for the 600 LT review. Let's roll the tape. Roll it!
You're amped up today, man.
I'm freaking amped because we finally get to show the viewers the video.
You're all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
I'm hopped up on Mountain Dew. I've been up since 5 in the morning.
Jeez.
Insane.
5 in the morning, why?
Excited to do some work, drop off an Audi this morning, an R8.
Cool. Worst things?
We're missing the Porsche 3-year anniversary of Saturday shipped right now.
I
the
know.
Porsche experience, and I'm
know,
kind of
we
mad
blew
about it. Isn't it the
We're blowing it right as we speak. It's going on as we speak, and we're just totally blowing it. We should be doing this there.
Yeah, we need a transit van to have Coming in Clutch mobile.
I'm telling you, we got to get like a Volkswagen, just like without the windows, a van that just opens up. I told my buddy has a headquarters pins. He has a Volkswagen van, and his store is inside the van, and he just posts up, open his doors.
That could be us.
Yeah.
But it's not. Alas, we're here in this
Stuck in a garage.
with all these rust buckets. But anyways, guys, without further ado, let's cut to the review because you've been waiting and you want to see it.
Patiently.
Let's see it. Alrighty, guys, behind me, I have the 600 LT lent to us by our friend Nick at Karpage. Nick, thank you. You are the man. Let me go over the name for you because 600 LT, no one really knows what it means. 600 is 600 metric horsepower because Europeans are very weird. LT is long tail because back in the day, for Le Mans races, they had longer tails to withstand higher top speeds. And this thing is hecka fast. We know that. How fast exactly, Cody?
It's hecka fast. Hecka fast meaning 2.8 seconds 0 to 60 with that 600 metric horsepower. This thing weighs 3,000 pounds and it has a twin turbo V8 engine that's 3.8 liters, and it also has a base price of $240,000.
Now, the one you're looking at right now is not $240,000 because it is covered in MSO options. Cody, why don't you go over some of the options for the people?
Oh my God, so many options. This is an option, this is an option, these are an option, these are an option, this is an option, that is an option, this is an option, and so is this.
Don't forget, this is an option! Now, guys, I'm very excited to get driving this thing.
Could you
You want to see us drive it? I don't want to drive it. But no one knows how to get into supercars nowadays, and Speedy's gonna teach you how, because when you have a supercar, you gotta know how to get inside it. Otherwise you look like a dingus. So I'm gonna teach you. Let's do it. All right, so guys, getting into a supercar is a fairly easy affair. I'll show you how. You go butt first, like so. Then you take your feet and you swing them on in, and you're ready to go. But make sure not to get your grummy feet on the carbon fiber sill because that's not cool. Now, once you're in, getting out is a different story because you're gonna look like a chotch getting out. So you just gotta find out what works best for you and just get out like a hot shot. See you later.
A few moments later.
Let's go for a drive. Beep, beep. All right, guys, we are inside the 600 LT in our segment called Love It or Hate It. Basically, we're gonna talk about things that we love about a car and things that we hate about it, and by the end, we're gonna find out if we truly love it or hate it. So let me take it away from here to start. And the first thing I'm gonna talk about is the looks of this car because it is absolutely badass. I'm sorry, it looks great. The hood scoop, if you don't get a hood scoop and you have a McLaren, you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm sorry. You are so wrong. The louvers on the front, the exhaust pipes right behind us.
That's insane.
It's like straight up a 918. It's great, dude. It looks so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I love about this car, I had a chance to drive this before this particular segment, and I just have to say the speed of this car is insane. I mean, I've been in a lot of fast cars, but just because it's so small and it's so compact, it just like, it feels so incredibly fast. I love it.
It really wants to go. Like
Yeah.
it's like driving slow on the PCH right now. It does not want to do that. It wants to just get up and just like, "Argh!" You know what I mean?
Totally.
So
Man.
right there, that noise. I'm gonna go into something I don't like about the car, and it's the paddle shifters, guys. It's they're on a
hear
rock.
that?
They're on a rocker system.
You hear that? Listen closely.
Listen. They're on a rocker system, so you can push the plus sign to downshift, if that makes sense. And I don't really like that. It's kind of, and they're steering wheel mounted, so I want them to be on the column like a Ferrari.
Yeah, I kind of don't hate that.
I don't know, man. It's not.
I
don't
don't
like
hate
that noise.
I don't hate that because I'm one to drive with one hand.
Right.
And
Right.
having the rocker on there means that like you don't have to have it column mounted. So even when you're turning,
You can be on the phone.
You can flip your gears up and down with one hand, and like you can't do that in a lot of cars.
No, that's a good point. That's a
So
good point.
I like that.
Yeah. What else you got for us?
Well, I happen to really like the fact that from the outside, everything looks super factory. Although it's super aggressive looking, I mean, it has exhaust pipes that shoot out the top, and there's flames that shoot out of the exhaust pipes, but, you know, different from like a Porsche GT3 RS, which really looks like aftermarket pieces on a factory car. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
You know, with the decals
Yeah,
and
with
with
the
that
stickers,
really
it looks
tall
kinda-
wing,
yeah,
it
yeah,
looks
yeah.
really aftermarket-y. And I think this car, everything looks factory, and it just looks more like a gentleman's sports car. But don't get me wrong, this thing's a fucking beast, and it has flamethrowers out the back, and it has carbon fiber everywhere.
No, it's incredible.
So it's gnarly. It's gnarly as hell.
Yeah, I mean, the next thing I'll talk about, I'm sorry I'm going to talk about something I don't like again, but it's the infotainment. And it, guys, like, I'm saying this, take this with a grain of salt, because no infotainment on any supercar is great. Ferrari, Lamborghinis of the world are terrible. This is actually a lot better. It's still not that great, but it's still miles better than them. But like, you would kind of expect in a car at this price it'd be better, but there's a reason why, right?
Yeah, totally. And that's partly what I'm thinking about is the fact that I wasn't really crazy about the interior, and I think that once I had a chance to drive it, I understood the interior a lot more. And part of the reason why the infotainment system isn't really that spectacular, it's not very engaging, it's not very intuitive, it's really just because that's the last thing on their minds when they're building these cars. Everything is focused on the driving experience, on the speed.
This
on
is
the
what they're
quality.
focusing on, baby. One of these. That.
Exactly.
That's the focus, not that. So what, we can let that go.
Exactly.
Truly, you know.
You gotta toss that one out the window because the fit and finish, the speed, the aggression, and like the quality of the ride are just top notch. So who cares about the infotainment system? You got all this music back there to listen to. Listen
right.
to this. You can hear the roof scoop pulling in air. You can hear the turbo spooling
I'm
up.
glad you just said that. You guys, the noise, if you're a turbo guy, I'm not a turbo guy. This has noises like, it's just like, the turbo spool is so incredible. And you have this from the center, the hood, the roof scoop, it makes you hear the noise going like, and it's freaking awesome, dude. It's so great. It's a little go-kart of a car, and despite being the baby Mac, it's really the best one to drive. Dude, you put this next to a Senna, and it is tiny.
This is the baby Mac, but it's like the Mac Daddy. It's the mac and cheese. This thing is the Macintosh computer. I mean, I can't even tell you. This thing is insane. I mean, there's no lack of enjoyment, excitement, power, speed. I mean, I feel bad even calling it the baby Mac just because it's the smallest McLaren.
All right, I'm gonna do something bad. I'm gonna be speedy now.
Yeah, speedy.
Okay, I will. I gotta
And
say.
it makes you do that. You hear that noise? That noise that just popped out of your mouth.
So for as fast as this car is, it stops equally quick. McLarens are known to have really good brake feel. You know that, like you were like when you first got, you're like, whoa, it's kind of hard to like.
It's like really
you're
hard.
Like
to
you're
push
like what the
pedal.
heck's going on? But it's like it's an immediate hit, and that's exactly what you want in a car like this. Like you don't want a little bit of give, like, oh, is the car gonna stop? And this is like you hit it and it stops, and that's so great because it's good for inspiring confidence on a racetrack.
I'm pretty sure they have that assisted brake system that's the same as the 720, and it also has the same dampers as the 720. So it gives you that really responsive brake feel when you're stopping around corners or when you're slowing down around corners, and it's just that gives you a really great handling with the complement of the assisted braking system.
Oh, totally. No, it's great. I mean,
like, just driving, it's insane. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's just drive. Let's just drive.
Let's just drop it down a few and give it the beans, matey.
The beans!
I am
love
now
beans.
going a speed in which my mother would get very mad at me for.
Actually, I'm really surprised. So when Nick gave us this car, and thank you so much, Nick, again. I can't thank you enough. Extremely generous of you. But he mentioned a tiny little quirk about this car, which is the car recognizes where you are and what the speed limit is. And when you breach the speed limit, the radio comes on and says, "You're over the speed limit."
You are over the speed limit.
It gives you a warning.
So, but it hasn't done it yet, though.
I know. I'm
This
so
whole way
surprised.
here, we were so worried. We're like,
But
it's going to be doing that the whole time we're filming. We're screwed. But it didn't. It didn't do it once.
And to tell you the truth, it wasn't like a pleasant Siri.
No.
You are over the speed limit.
like, "You're over the
It was
speed
like
limit."
a very angry British man that's like, "You are going too fast."
Please slow the F down.
So another thing I wanted to mention is these incredible Senna seats are literally so supported that it makes it so much easier to drive fast. I mean,
So true.
with normal cars that don't have this kind of support, you really have to like hang off the steering wheel to keep yourself upright when you're getting into turns. But with these, you have so much support that you could just, little fingertips on the steering wheel to maneuver, and you have just so much support.
It holds you in during those high G-forces around the skid pad.
But
You know what I mean?
They are definitely not uncomfortable.
On a long drive, they would be.
Probably on
But-
a long drive.
I wouldn't not get them.
Definitely not bad.
What? They're $7,400.
I think they're like six and change. But
Yeah.
it's definitely worth it.
Everything else is an option on here. So like, just you're gonna get a 600 LT. Just get it. Just get it. Don't even think about it. Just do it. Right?
So, Lorenzo, now that we've been driving this car for a little while, what do you think? Is it a love or is it a hate?
Well, Cody, it is a big fat love for me. In case you haven't heard my girly shrieks before, this is a huge love. I personally will take this over a 675 LT. I'll take it over a Senna. I won't take it over P1, but this is like a more doable road track car, and it's amazing. It's super visceral, and I love it.
Pretty good answer.
What about you?
I would have to say that I also absolutely love it. I think it's amazing. I mean, this car is exactly the same 0 to 60 as the 675 LT, and it also is the same seats that are in the Senna, so you're getting all the fun that's in the 675 LT, and you're getting the seating position as the Senna for a quarter of the price. So it's
done.
a win-win.
It's done.
This
Guys,
is definitely a love.
it's a love. One last one for the people. Well, guys, that's the end of our amazing drive. Thank you so much to Nick from Karpage for giving us the keys to your phenomenal 600 LT. There's the shot. That's the shot.
Wow, so Cody, that car
Insane.
was really great.
Absolutely.
Both of
insane.
us weren't the biggest 570 fans ever, and we see that 600 LT. with its louvers and its roof scoop and its exhaust, and we were like, wow, this thing's actually a sick package. Do you remember that feeling? Like,
To me, yeah, they're like two totally different cars.
totally.
Like visually, driving experience, it's crazy. The 570 is like I don't know. I'm not particularly in love with the looks of it. It's still a good-looking car, but to me, and obviously this is coming from a spoiled, jaded view out here in LA, but they're just like the entry-level supercar, just like any other entry-level supercar, and they just like flood the streets and they flood car shows and like.
That's what makes them great because like they're accessible to everybody. But yeah, like when you park it next to a 600 LT, it's nothing. It's kind of lame. And the funniest part of shooting that review was when we were driving at PCH and a 570S driving by us, and we were like, what a loser! That guy is such a loser. Like that guy was driving the other way and saw this like badass
chump
Batmobile driving by, and he was like, "Dude, I bought the wrong car." And at first, his girlfriend was sitting there, or her boyfriend. She thought like, I hope that significant other broke up with the person because he saw a cooler car drive by.
Punk ass.
Punk ass.
If you see a dude driving a nicer car, ladies, break up with your man and date that dude.
Or us.
Word of advice from Lorenzo over here.
But no, the car was phenomenal. It was very livable.
Totally.
It was quick as S. It was
quick
just,
as S?
It was quick
or
as
ass?
S. S as shit.
What do you mean livable?
It was very livable. The carbon fiber sills were easy to get into. It was
easy to get into?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad compared to other cars, and it was compared to other supercars, and it was just I liked the package. With that said,
I thought it was impossible to get in and out of. I thought
you didn't watch my review then how to get in and out of a car like that.
Regardless, I mean, I told you at the Audi event at Malibu Cars and Coffee, I had a conversation with Matt Farah from the Smoking Tire, and he said something that really resonated with me after I drove the 600 LT because the Senna seats are not uncomfortable. They get a bad rep for being just like race seats, so they're stiff. Like, yeah, they're stiff, and the pads aren't cushiony, but they're not. They're built to be relatively comfortable when you're in them. A lot of support.
Yeah, they weren't bad,
but they're impossible to get in and out of.
It's like a bucket.
That's the biggest bucket seat. So what he said is that I would take that car across country and have no problem, but I would rather do that than take it for a day of errands and have to get in and out and in and out of that car because those seats make it impossible. The door sills, those big door sills that you could just plant your hand on and mount yourself off, leap off of it. But yeah, it was difficult.
Yeah.
Next to impossible to get out.
No, I mean, as far as like supercars go, like that's a track car and it's pretty good on the road.
Totally.
But with that said, driving other track-oriented supercars, mid-engine cars, I think I might still take the Performante solely because of the V10. I love, dude, that car is way more livable and it's probably better on every day. But the Huracan, I come back to the V10.
I don't know why though. Why?
Because it's loud and visceral. It's just like
that thing weighs like 1,000 pounds more.
Yeah, but I'm not a race car driver. I don't really care.
So you just like the sound of the engine?
Yeah.
See, to me, I think that the Performante is a great car, but it's not nearly as nimble, and it doesn't like.
I don't know that.
I would rather. You're right. I don't, and
I don't especially know that perfectly either.
But from what I've seen and from what I can imagine, a V10 being a heavier engine, the car is a heavier car. It does rev up higher, and like I'm sure the sounds are different. But nobody's got stock exhaust on any of these cars.
Yeah.
That 600 LT shoots flames out of the top. The Performante shoots flames out of its ass. It's like not. It's
you're right. We're split. We're
six
split.
of one, half a dozen of the other. I think that they're both really nice. You can't lose. But I mean, me personally, I would go 600 LT strictly because of that that roof scoop.
Yeah.
Thing is
No, it's great.
insane.
And hey, we're splitting hairs here. Both cars are like, I'd be thrilled to have both. It's just like, and Performante is a little more, but I don't know. I think we've had enough to say about the 600 LT. Why don't we go on to the new GT that is coming out? Just a quick little blurb about it.
I was also going to mention the fact that I really like the car, but it has so many freaking buttons and knobs and all that stuff. I mean, not a lot. It doesn't have that many buttons and knobs, but the combination, and it's like, what do they call those puzzles? But whatever, it's like, in order to put the car into this mode, you got to turn this knob, click this button, touch this thing, get outside, do 5 jumping jacks, clap your hands.
Yeah, the lift process is kind of a pain in the butt. But
it's insane.
No, I know.
But overall...
But you know what is a more livable...
Incredible car to drive.
I agree.
Dope. Sick. Mad.
One car I do want to drive is the new GT, though, that I was just talking about that's coming out. It's $210,000 starting price. It's basically supposed to be head-to-head with a Continental GT with an Aston Martin. It is a GT car, but it's a mid-engine. So the thing is, it's the first mid-engine GT car, and McLaren's trying to rewrite the rule books. Fits 2 sets of golf clubs, 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. Did I say that already?
I think
I don't know what's going to happen. I've heard great things. I've read great things. I wouldn't buy one in a million years, but I'm not want to buy a GT car either.
Like if I had 6 or 7 or 8 cars, I might get a McLaren GT.
If I was an old soul,
or if I had already had a Bentley GT and already had a this and a that, and I like wanted something new, it would be much more of a consideration. But I think that competitively in the market, if you're looking for a GT car, this doesn't really hit all of the like super comfort points that you want. I think it's like what do they say? A jack of all trades and a master of nothing. So it's kind of like has a little bit of that.
Good way to put it.
A little bit of this, but it's not necessarily fantastic. But that being said, I think it's a really good looking car. It took me a second and a half to really enjoy the looks of it. I've seen it in other colors other than that
bronze.
Yeah, it was a cool, interesting paint that they had, this bronzy color. But I've seen it I've seen it in white. I've seen it in dark gray and blue. And to me, I think it's a fantastic looking car. It has a sea of leather on the back where I think it's a extremely pretentious way to describe your storage is that it fits 2 sets of golf clubs.
Well,
but you can tell that
describes the demographic.
It's
right there.
exactly. It's like that is geared directly at a specific demographic.
The Corvette says the same thing.
But it's cool. I dig it. I mean, I dig the looks, but I think that in terms of the market space, it's going to have a tough time.
A little funky. One thing I will say is that
it's like the same price as a. I mean, it's a
DB11.
$10,000 more. Yeah, DB11, it's $10,000 more than a Vantage, but it's $10,000 more than a 570, where you can get like a real
sports car.
mid-engine sports car.
Totally.
And it's definitely more expensive than the Bentley GT.
I think its main hallmark, that their main selling point, I should say, is the fact that it has this amazing ride quality. And guys, I'm going to have a hot take here because all McLarens are said to have amazing ride quality. I vividly remember watching an episode of Top Gear where Jeremy Clarkson's like, the Stig cuts this corner, and in every single car, it's bone-shattering. But in the MP4-12C, he just glides over it, and it's amazing. That, you know what? That's false. McLarens don't ride that nicely. Like they ride better than a Ferrari or Lamborghini, but again,
all McLarens, or what are we talking about?
They're not like that. I think all McLarens, they all have the same suspension. They're not like that insane. Like it's not that comfy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not to say that's the Rolls Royce of supercars is false.
Okay, so how many 720s have you driven?
Zero. I haven't driven 720.
I've driven 0. And I know that you've driven the P1, which is an Ultimate Series. And I know that you've driven now a 600 LT and a 675.
And a 650 and this MP4.
650 may be more like it, but basically like, so McLaren, because of their well-known continuously variable active damper system, that's what it is. So it's basically like, instead of your suspension just being like, oh, here's a bump, I'm going to compress, it knows like, okay, I got hit by a bump really quickly, so I have to compress really quickly, or I got hit by a bump slowly or differently, so I compress differently. So it constantly changes the speed at which the dampers are compressed. I think that in some of these other, like in the the race versions of these cars, they're tuned in such a way to be way more aggressive. But I feel like the 720 is definitely going to be the one to test to see if if the suspension's really where it's all.
That's a great point. Someone has a 720, give it to us.
Let us drive it. Let us tell other people how it is, because
prove me wrong.
We want to know.
Prove me wrong that these things do drive well, and just give it to us for the day.
I've never driven a car that insane. So to me, I was in seventh heaven. It was freaking awesome. So I wasn't giving a shit about how the suspension was. I just knew that when I turned the wheel, the car went where I wanted it to go. Yeah. And I felt like I was sitting about a foot lower to the ground than the Porsche. When we reviewed that Carrera. Mm-hmm. But because of the design of the front end of the McLaren, I still had an extremely great view of the street. And I didn't feel like I was like sitting on the ground and couldn't see anything. I didn't feel like I was like that. Like, it was a really great driving position.
I totally agree.
Awesome.
I totally agree.
Awesome.
Now, hey, we're kind of running out of time here. Let's quickly touch on the Speedtail, which is this is the future of McLaren.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to talk about it?
Not really.
Okay, it's basically a $2.1 million hypercar. It's meant to be a straight line monster. It's not meant to be track oriented. It's not meant to be something like a Senna, which just like can smoke everything on the road. It's just meant to be like so damn fast, 0 to 60. It'll go to 186 miles an hour in 12.8 seconds.
And nobody's going to do that.
And nobody's going to do it. And it's also middle seater like the F1.
Which means it's not legal in the States.
106 will be built. Normal
which
people.
Which means you're not getting one.
You're not getting one. I'm not getting one. That guy's not getting one.
The thing is cool, but it's like it's a clear marketing ploy. The design is like okay, but it's nothing spectacular.
Those front wheel removable things are weird.
Yeah,
it's for aero,
but like I don't know, not crazy about it. I think they tried to do this whole like, hey, we're bringing back the center seater, just like the fucking McLaren F1, and it's just like, I don't know. I think it's all like heritage and mystery and all that in this car, and it's gonna be you're gonna have 106 garage queens, and no one's ever gonna take it anywhere but a car show.
I think if they were gonna do it, why didn't they just make it so that it would go its top speed is 250 miles an hour? If they're gonna make something that can go,
but like it's not gonna happen.
Why not try to do 300 miles an hour? If
like
it is in fact the top speed monster.
I mean, yeah, but like listen, this Bugatti came out that's like a top speed monster, but like who the fuck even drives Bugattis over 80 miles an hour? Nobody.
I'm making a zero with my hand.
So we're talking about a car that's literally designed to be a museum piece. Like a Bugatti is at least designed to be driven and look good forever, but this car is not made to be on the street.
Yeah, and that's a hot take.
Speedtail gives me a thumbs down.
That's a hot take. Well, hey guys, I think that's our time.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you guys for watching. My name is Lorenzo Iacomini.
I want to go first this time.
Fine, go.
My name is Lorenzo Iacomini, a.k.a. the Speedy Guidi.
And my name is Cody Lewis, a.k.a. the LA Car Spotter.
And I'm all jacked up on coffee, and we'll see you on the next Coming in Clutch.
Hit it. I could kill you.